right. Welcome everybody to the Terrible Tuesdays podcast, brought to you by me, the person who's been running this channel for a few years, and a friend of mine that I brought on. We're gonna call him Cargo because he's fat like the cargo ships that you see in the harbor, bringing on a lot of packages and shit like
Yo,
that.
shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
Sorry about his behavior, everybody. So here we are here to talk about anything and everything Steelers, NFL, football, anything that we can find that would be entertaining to talk about because we have these conversations on the regular, so we thought it'd be pretty funny to bring it to here to the stream. So here we are. Let's get right back. Let's get right into it. Let's not waste any time. We're both diehard Steeler fans. We love the team very much, and we just want to see them do good. Obviously, it's not great right now. We are on top of the North, but that's not good enough right now. We should have been 4-0 or 5-0 or 4-1 or something like that. And here we are at 3-2 with a offense that can't seem to learn how to play football. But with good news of that offense, Diontae Johnson is coming back. He did say hell yeah to am I coming back or not after the bye week. He is coming back, and do you think that's good or bad?
I honestly think that's good. Deontay's a big part of Steelers offense. Obviously he's, the wide receiver one coming in every game. Last season he wasn't really, seen of. I think he had 0 touchdowns last season. Um so hopefully we can get us some touchdowns and hopefully he'll be a good addition when we go face the Rams.
Now, the reason I would even consider it to be bad is because he is a route running receiver. He is a guy who is very hard to cover in open space. He's a very hard guy to tackle to bring down because he is in a very elusive, very great route runner. He's the closest thing to AB we've had since AB. 5'10", runs around, a little high 4.4s, and he is just an elite top 10 route runner in the NFL. Now, the reason I say that's bad is because Diontae Johnson isn't the guy who's going to go burn you down 60 yards. He's a little too far in his career for that. Plus, with all the injuries he's had to his lower body, and he's just not that kind of guy. He's the kind of guy that you want to throw the quick slant to. He's the kind of guy you want to throw the comebacks to. He's not the kind of guy who you want to take deep shots to. That's what we have speedy Calvin Austin for and go up and get it George Pickens for. Um, I say it's going to be a bad first game because we're going to be figuring out how to work all three guys back into the offense because we've had a good rhythm with getting Pickens and Austin the ball. It's just really anything and everything else to do with the offense, the running game, everything. It's just terrible. So I think it's going to be a slow adjustment for Johnson to come back. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the offense is gonna have to adjust to George Pickens, Deontay Johnson, and Allen Robinson all in the field because obviously those are the three starting wideouts. But I feel like
Don't
I
forget
feel
about Calvin Austin.
yeah, Calvin Austin. He's on a whole nother level. The good rookie, good guy. But I feel like it'll take a couple weeks to get the offense back on track. Hopefully Matt Canada can call plays and get that offense back in rhythm.
Okay, so another thing with Johnson coming back, he was on injured reserve, so he is going to open up he's going to fill a roster spot. Now, I think all of Steeler Nation can agree that Gunnar Olszewski is the one who's got to fucking go.
Oh yeah, easily. That guy Gunner has no sense of football. He doesn't know what's around him. I feel like he's nervous on the field, and he does not know what he's doing.
Yeah, that guy's just a fucking idiot, dude. It's really hard to watch. It's really hard to watch football, and everyone knows if you kick a football out of bounds on a kickoff, it goes to the 40. Like I hate when players get injured, but when he got injured on that Browns game, I was like part of me was slightly happy. I don't like seeing players injured, but he is a variable on the field that will cost us games. He lost us the Patriots game last year, fumbling that punt return. He is a cancer on the field. He's got to go.
Oh yeah, I agree. He's probably one of the worst special teams players in the league, in my opinion. He's not good.
No, he's not even a real football player. So
Yeah.
speaking of burning receivers down, burning corners down the field, how about George Pickens, man? Had a hell of a game against Baltimore.
Oh yeah, George Pickens. Obviously, he's been filling in for that spot, for Deontay Johnson, and he had an awesome game Sunday versus the Ravens. He's honestly had a mid year this year, but last year, man, that catch that he made versus the Cleveland Browns, that's what really got him known. That
Yeah,
man is a dog, and he has a hella career going ahead of him.
yeah, man. I hope Pittsburgh can keep him happy, man. Matt Canada just got to give him the ball. I mean, I'm sure if we give him the ball as much as we like, he only had 6 catches, 6 catches for 130 yards. That's pretty fucking good. That's an Antonio Brown stat right there. That's an Antonio Brown
Yeah.
stat right there. 6 catches, 130 yards. We just threw him that back shoulder fade. It's hard to cover that. It's almost as hard as covering a comeback in pro era. You know, so it's just you're throwing it up to a guy who's over 6'3", who has extreme length, and these corners. There's not many corners who have that length. There's a few. There may be a few. Joey Porter being one of them. But so speaking. By the way, Terrell Austin said Joey Porter is still not starting. Just letting you know. I don't know if you heard about that yet.
Yeah, I honestly disagree with what Terrell Austin's saying. I feel like Joey Porter Jr. should definitely start. I
He's
feel
just an
like
idiot.
I feel like Patrick Peterson has been getting cooked all year. I think going to the year, I was confident. Patrick Peterson, a veteran, an all-time great. He has not been doing anything. He got one pick against the Raiders. That was a terrible throw by Jimmy Garoppolo, and I just don't trust in what he can do for the rest of the season.
No, absolutely not. It's the bye week. It's time for Porter to go in and start, dude. He made the game. He made a game-changing interception against Odell Beckham, a possible future Hall of Fame wide receiver, a guy who has changed recess forever with that one-handed catch. He has got to start. I don't understand. Like it's like we're beating a horse that we're beating the obvious horse. We're not even beating a dead horse. We're beating this obvious horse. We have to beat this fucking horse. And I don't understand. This coaching staff is so stupid. It's not even funny. I don't understand what's going on with them. I don't understand why this coaching staff can't comprehend simple football. I mean, it's not like we're asking for them to trade up for the first round pick to draft a shitty quarterback in Bryce Young. We're not asking for that. We're asking for to start a good corner, and we're asking to start we're asking to start a good corner. That's all we're asking for. I mean, is that too hard? Is that hard?
Nope.
That's just ridiculous, man. That's just ridiculous. I just don't understand it. I don't. So I guess we'll see. We'll see what happens with Porter. I mean, there's no doubt that he needs to be starting. So moving on from that, I want to keep talking about George Pickens' game against against the Ravens. Now, it was cleared up today about the audible versus the Ravens that it was actually a Kenny Pickett audible for him to go deep and throw that go ball. It was an audible by Kenny Pickett. I me and Cargo were talking about this earlier, and I told him that I genuinely think that it's more of I thought the quarterback's coach called it from the sideline and said, "Canada, shut up, let me call this play." And then Randy was a slide protection. Um, but apparently I was wrong, and I'll eat my words. It was obvious to see that it was an audible to go get that touchdown. So what do you think that says about Kenny Pickett? What do you think that says about about the team, about Matt Canada? What do you think what is that biggest thing that it tells you?
Well, I think Kenny, calling his own play is definitely a big step up. I feel like it takes takes a lot of balls to call a play and not let your offensive coordinator do. Obviously, great throw, great play by Kenny. Obviously, great route by George Pickens. And I feel like Kenny calling this play really made Mike Tomlin believe in him more. That he's a leader and he knows what he's doing. And Matt Canada's just a total shit offensive coordinator. Like he just doesn't know what he's doing. Obviously, after I was watching the game live, after George Pickens caught the touchdown, it showed a cam of Matt Canada in the room. He just did not look happy, and I was like, why does he look happy? Later, I found out that Kenny audibled the play, and he didn't call the play.
Yeah, and that's definitely why. He realized, wow, I'm a truly like maybe he had a wow, I'm really a shitty offensive coordinator. I don't know if you saw the memes. I think the memes are really funny. Let me see if I can pull up a few on the for the stream. Um, it's really, but they're really funny. Let me see. One of them was like, wow, that isn't the 4th and 20 I called for. That isn't the sack I called for.
That isn't the run up the middle with Najee Harris for 2 yards I called for.
That's hilarious. Dude's just incompetent. He can't he
Oh yeah.
can't he can't comprehend an NFL offense. He is truly an idiot. He should be back in coaching high school. I don't know understand. He's been in college forever. He's been bouncing around colleges. And LSU fans, I saw a video of an LSU fan being like screaming and telling them to fire Canada. I mean, he was their offensive coordinator for one whole year, and they were terrible that year. So how does he get a job with Pittsburgh?
Mike Tomlin doing what Mike Tomlin does, putting his trust in stupid people.
All right, so I got here. If you're watching the stream, we'll go ahead and put it on for you.
We're down to 1:23 to go on a 2nd and 9. Pickett lines up a deep ball. Separation. Touchdown.
That's a perfect
George
ball.
Pickens.
That is just a perfect ball.
One more time.
I wish you could hear the audible though. He doesn't do the full thing.
We're down to 1:23 to go.
So if you look at the play, right, break it down. He says Randy, which shifts everybody to the right because there is a blitzing safety right here. So there must have been a different kind of signal that Kenny gave to George to go for that deep ball. It must have been something different. So I mean, other than that, man, what is like your biggest takeaway from the game? Like other than of course that game changing play, what is like a big takeaway for you from you?
A big takeaway, like a big a good thing that happened.
Yeah, like, or like a good or bad thing. Like what was the thing that stood out the most to you in this game?
Well, I think this is every Steeler game. T.J. Watt.
Yep. Yep.
He's already been in conversation for a Hall of Fame player. He easily is the best defensive player in the NFL right now. There is no argument. He's leading league with 8 sacks. He's just a game changer. Last year when TJ wasn't there, what did we go 0-6 or something? 1-6 with TJ gone. He's just a game changer. He changes every game. When we need him the most at the end of the games, he gets a fumble, a sack, an interception. He's him, and he's a really good part of our defense. And I hope he can be a Steeler all time.
Yeah, man. I mean, we paid him big time money. Oh
yeah,
we paid him some big time money. I mean that contract's gonna end in the next. He's got 2 more years on his contract, man. I'm looking forward to his next extension. I hope he's a Steeler for life, like you said. I think he definitely can be, especially because Pittsburgh definitely likes to keep the same players. We don't like getting rid of our superstar players like that. I mean, Big Ben, he's the most seasons starting with one team of all time for a quarterback at 18. Most no other quarterback has ever stayed with a team for 18 straight years. Antonio Brown before he went apeshit. Le'Veon before he got greedy. Cameron Hayward. Look at Cameron Hayward. He's been with us for a while. We even brought back William Gay after a 1-year stint with the Cardinals. Troy Polamalu, big one right there. Players that are just superstars that we just do not want to get rid of. So I think TJ, he can easily retire as one of the best edge rushers, if not the best edge rusher of all time.
Oh yeah, easily.
All right, so we're talking about the great Steelers of all time. Give me your top three, starting at number three, favorite Steeler moments of all time of the games that you've watched. Like, you're like, I'm not talking about, like, of course, the Immaculate Reception. Neither of us were, like, my dad wasn't even born when that happened. So I highly doubt that your parents were either. So what are what like moments that you have watched? What are like the whole like that the moment the three moments that stick with you the most?
Well, it was easily my favorite moment, as a Steeler, is seeing the night that Big Ben retired.
Man, yeah.
Honestly, brought tears to my eyes. That
Yep.
man is one of my favorite player of NFL all time.
Yep.
He played great. He played his great 18 seasons for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Won 2 Super Bowls. Just played his heart out. You could tell that he always wanted to be Pittsburgh Steeler, and he always tried. So seeing him retire and seeing him walking around the stadium, talking to the fans, just it warmed my heart, and it was good to see.
So I'll go ahead and give you. I'll comment on top of that. So I was actually on deployment when that happened. Um, I was on the other side of the world, all the way in the Mediterranean Sea, and the game was on at like 3 a.m. or well, we're 5 or 6 hours off, and that game was a night 8 o'clock game. So what? Yeah, so about 3 o'clock in the morning. So I went to bed early, and I woke up at like 1 a.m. super excited for the game. I went into work, dressed down, in my uniform, and just sat there and watched the game. Because we actually do get the games overseas. Um, Even in the middle of the ocean, we have satellite TV. It's called like AFN, Armed Forces Network. It's pretty cool, man. You get all the football games, Super Bowl, all that kind of bullshit. Um, so I was watching that, and the people in my office were Chiefs was a Chief fan, a Patriots fan, and a Lions fan. Right? I was watching it with those three. They're just three random NFL fans, and I started crying. And they all actually started making fun of me, like, "Why are you crying?" I'm like, it's Ben's last game. Like, that's his last hoorah. I've been watching him for 7 years. It's because I wasn't a football fan before. I've been watching him for 7 straight years, man. Like, that's it was tough. Like, that was tough for me, man. Um, but yeah, no, that's definitely a good moment. Give me your number two.
My number two. It's gonna take a while to think about.
All right, while you're thinking about it, I'll go ahead and give you my number three. Um,
All right.
My number three would definitely have to be. I know you didn't watch this game, but we'll go ahead. Are you looking at the stream right now, like watching the videos?
Here, I'll pull it up.
All right, so go ahead and pull it up, and
I'm
I'll
on it
show
now. I'm
you.
on it now.
2015 Steelers versus Broncos AB highlights. So I'll go ahead and put this on the screen. Oh, look at that, an ad. Things that I can't get. Um, so after this ad plays with, I think that's David Hasselhoff. I don't know.
Team Pro on us.
All right, look, there he's again. So we'll go ahead and skip to later in the game. Or let me see if I can find the play. So, all right, so this is the play right here, right? First and goal at the 9 yard line. My booth, I was actually in a box seat for this game because my grandfather's friends uh, had a box seat. So I'm like up. I'm like up here watching down on Antonio Brown run this perfect fade route against a cornerback who hasn't let up a touchdown in over 2 years until that game right there. So that was a moment that was also a really crazy moment for me, um, as well as this moment right here. Throws it a perfect seam route to Antonio Brown over the middle. Like, holy shit, man. That was just legendary. Against once again the same corner who hasn't let up a touchdown in over 2 years, he led up 2 to the same guy, Antonio Brown. Holy shit, man! That was an awesome game. That was an awesome game for us, man. I was there at that game watching that too. So, just awesome, dude. That was awesome. All right, so you got your number 3 yet?
I
Or
do got my
number
number
2?
3. Number 2, yeah.
All right, let's hear it.
I do have my number 2. So this was back in, I believe 2021. Actually, a one of my favorite plays in the Steelers as well. Joe Hayden made this play. This was back in 2021. It was Titans versus Steelers. It was fourth and 9 or 4th and 10, I think. And a receiver on the Titans got a completion, and Joe Hayden tackled him like inches short. And obviously the officials had to review the play. It took like 10 minutes to review if the ball was over the line to gain. And it was not. Joe Hayden made the game-winning tackle. That's when we went 7-6-1, and that was just a good moment because honestly, during those 10 minutes of the refs deciding if it were over the line to gain, I was stressing. That game determined if we were to make it into the playoffs or if the season was over. So that was a great moment for me.
Yeah, so a thing with that moment was what I love about it the most is that was Joe Hayden's first game back from injury. I think he was out for a
Yep.
few weeks, and
Yep.
Hayden comes back and puts up an elite performance such as that. That's awesome for him. And another thing is, with that moment, the Titans they were the best team in the AFC that year. They were the number 1 seed. They still ended up the number 1 seed, and we beat them. I believe they lost in the second round of the playoffs or the first round of the playoffs. I can't quite remember when they lost, but they lost in the playoffs that year. I believe it was to the Chiefs, or the Bills, or something.
It was to the Bengals.
It was. Oh yeah, you're right. It was to the Bengals. You're right. Since
Evan
that,
McPherson kicked the game-winning field goal. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. I can't remember it too well because like I said, I was on deployment, so I wasn't watching all the games. That were not the Steeler games. It's because we lost the Chiefs in the playoffs. So that was big. That was big. We beat the number 1 seed. We beat a very good Titans team. We locked up Derrick Henry. He didn't really do too much. That was a good one. That's a good moment to have, Cargo. All right, my second moment has got to be Minkah Fitzpatrick. I mean, this is a seriously underrated moment, but this is probably the craziest Steelers game I have ever watched in my entire life. But Minkah Fitzpatrick's blocked extra point against the Bengals week 1. That was insane. Let's see if we can pull it up. So I'm in San Diego for some Navy school, and I went to a bar with my buddy, and there was a Bengals fan sitting right next to me, screaming, talking shit in the whole game, and then they score with 2 seconds left to go, and I'm like, well, I can't believe we lost. That really sucks, but I wasn't expecting to win with the team that we had. But then I didn't even really see this, to be honest. I thought he made it. I'm not gonna lie to you. We're watching it again here, and then Minkah just goes unblocked. He just goes unblocked, blocks the kick, and the mascot. I don't know if you saw the mascot, but he's bumping his head against the goalpost. What a jackass! And then we end up winning the game. That was a big moment for me, and that's got to be number 2 for me. Now, Cargo, I want to hear your number 1. Let's hear it.
Number 1. We're currently eating a hot dog, so.
He glizzy goblin. Hey, yo! Yo, glizzy my goblin.
My number 1 moment. George Pickens catch versus the Cleveland Browns.
Really? That's a good one. That's a good one. That was I didn't see the ball. Like I just thought it was overthrown, and I just was like, no way he caught that. No way he caught that. My mouth dropped. I was surprised. I was shocked that he actually caught that. So it's a good moment to have. All right, Cargo. Let's see if you can guess my number one moment. You know what? We'll also give an opportunity to the chat, to the 2 viewers we got right now. We'll give an opportunity to chat to guess my number one moment of all time that I have watched. I won't give any hints or anything. You gotta take a wild guess.
Can I guess?
Yeah, go ahead and guess.
When Antonio Brown scored a touchdown and he started twerking.
You would think that because you do love watching men twerk.
No.
Because you definitely gay as fuck. But it's all right though. Hey, we support you, Cargo. We support you. All right.
Oh.
You're a little teacup. You know that? You're a little teacup.
Mhm.
That's what we have you on here, man. You're the stream's little teacup, man. We're proud of you and we support you. I want you to know that. All right.
Mhm.
Yeah, you hear this guy? All right. So no one's guessing. Fine. We're good. We're gonna go ahead and throw it on here. Boom.
Burger. Roethlisberger.
1 second, I have to listen to this voice now.
Fights to the goal line, breaks the plane. Touchdown, Pittsburgh.
YOLO.
That might
You seeing
win
this?
the division.
Wait 1 sec. I just gotta listen to this
Great
voicemail. Is that alright?
You said what?
I gotta listen to this voicemail real quick.
Go ahead, man.
Oh, yep, the extension. The
The
extension. I knew it.
immaculate extension, man. That play
Well executed.
was
If he doesn't
insane.
reach with the ball, the clock may run out.
Now that game was insane, man. That game was insane. I just cannot. I was going absolutely crazy. I was going absolutely crazy when that happened. Cause like no, I didn't think he was gonna score. I'm like, what are you throwing? And then he stretches last second, gets in, and just scores. And holy shit, dude. That was awesome. That was just awesome, dude.
Okay, wait, I'll be back in like 1 minute.
All right, go
After I
ahead.
listen to this.
All right, so while he goes and takes care of his business, we'll go ahead and do the game of the week. We're gonna look at. I'm not too sure who plays this week. I probably should have had that up and ready. Excuse me. Let's see. Let's see. All right. So let's see. Um, week 5. Let's go to week 6. So some good game. We're obviously on the bye week. Thursday is the Chiefs and Broncos. I think the Chiefs are gonna blow out the Broncos. Ravens Titans. That should be a solid one. That's a pretty good rivalry there. Commanders Falcons. Battle of Mid. Seahawks Bengals. Should be a solid game. Niners Browns should be a solid one. Saints Texans should be a decent one. Dolphins Panthers. Oof. Let's see. Raiders Patriots, battle of terrible teams. Lions and Buccaneers should be solid. That should be a solid game. All right. You know what? I think it's between Seattle, Cincinnati, Tennessee, Baltimore, Lions and Buccaneers, and Eagles and Jets. So, are you here, Cargo?
Yep.
What is your game of the week?
My game of the week. All right, let me look real quick.
So the only real games I see are the Buccaneers and Lions, Saints, Texans, Seahawks and Cincinnati, and Ravens and Titans. Every other game is kind of just mid.
I think that I feel like Ravens Titans is always a classic rivalry.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
That's
I agree.
a good game.
Oh, that's a 9:30. That's a
Um,
9:30 a.m. game.
I'd say Lions Bucks because they're both pretty good teams. Both in the
Yeah.
NFC. Then I'd say definitely Cowboys Chargers. I think that'll be a pretty good game too.
My game of the week is definitely gonna be Lions and Buccaneers. I just think those two teams are having a really good start to the season, their seasons, and I think Baker Mayfield versus Jared Goff, which in my opinion I never would have thought would be a good game. Back when Jared Goff and Baker Mayfield weren't as good as they are now. So definitely excited to watch that game. I'm definitely excited.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. I think the low light game of the week. I think the Vikings and Bears are just two division rivalry teams that will just be. They're both 1-4. I thought the Bears and Vikings were going to be number 1 and 2 in the division. I thought Bears were going to be a really good team. I think the shit game of the week goes to Bears and Vikings.
I agree too. But speaking about the Bears, I think last week's performance, Justin Fields and DJ Moore versus the Commanders, I think that what made the Bears look decent. Justin Field went what did he pass for? He went 15 for 29, 282 yards and 4 touchdowns. I
Yeah.
mean, you got to give it to him. That's insane stats. DJ Moore 8 receptions, 230 yards and 3 touchdowns.
That
People who
is a
sat
crazy
DJ
game.
Moore in fantasy, I'm sorry for you.
They're punching air right now.
Oh,
So now let's go for the upset of the week, right? So some big upset possibilities. Broncos at Chiefs. Bengals versus the Seahawks. I think Seahawks are favored that one. Browns at 49ers could be a possible upset. I think Cardinals at Rams could possibly get upset. And Jets and Eagles. Eagles at the Jets. Jets being the upsetter. Now, what is your upset of the week? Who do you think is going to upset a team?
My upset of the week. People might call me crazy for this. Is Broncos versus Chiefs.
Ooh.
But listen to me. The Broncos fans hate Chiefs. If I was a Broncos fan, I would hate the Chiefs. They own your team every single year, but Russell Wilson has been playing like a top 5. He is a top 5 quarterback. Russell Wilson has been playing amazing. You look at his stats, he's been playing amazing. You look at his team, they're 1-4. But I could see this upset. Chiefs, they've been playing all right. I think the Patrick Mahomes glaze has been stopped because he hasn't been really playing like Pat Mahomes. So, but I could see an upset here.
Okay, I will go ahead. I will say my upset of the week is Jets at undefeated. Eagles at Jets. I think Jets. I think Zach Wilson has turned on something in his brain. I think the brain. I think he finally. I think Aaron Rodgers has been teaching him how to be a quarterback. I think this year, getting experience, learning from Aaron Rodgers from a admin standpoint, or not from an admin standpoint, meaning like he's out in the field and Aaron Rodgers is coaching him up, and then he'll get more of the watch and learn kind of thing next year, as long as Rodgers doesn't get hurt, again, which is crazy to me how he got hurt in the first place. So I just think that is definitely a game that the Jets can win. So my upset of the week is Jets over Eagles.
Oh yeah, and definitely team going to this week as well. Or actually, the Packers are on their bye week, but I think the Packers are frauds. I don't know how they lost that game last night to the to the Raiders. Jordan Love throwing 2 picks to a former Steeler, Robert Spillane. I just don't believe in Jordan Love for now. He played like garbage yesterday.
He did play pretty bad.
And
All
Robert
right.
Spillane, a former Steeler, getting 2 picks.
So now that's something else I really want to talk about. Let's pull up the Steelers schedule, and I want you to see something. And this will be the last thing we talk about before we end it off, right? This is something that I very really want to talk about. So I'll pull up the Steelers schedule here. Um, let's see. Okay, so San Francisco 49ers was week 1, right? Ray McLeod gets his revenge game, right? So San Francisco 49ers, they get his revenge game. Cleveland didn't really have anybody that was a former Steeler on it that I can know. But Las Vegas Raiders. Robert Spillane didn't get his revenge, but he played a solid game against us. Houston Texans. Um, what's his name? Steven Nelson and Kendrick Green. They got their fucking revenge against us because they wanted to do it. They got their get back, and they're both playing 10 times better than how they did for the Steelers. I don't know if you remember Steven Nelson as a Steeler, but he was fucking terrible. He was dog shit as a Steeler. He could not he could not catch a fucking cold. He could not cover anybody. He was terrible. So that was Steven Nelson for you when he was on the Steelers, but now he's playing like an all-pro with Houston. Baltimore, Arthur Millette and Arthur Millette, right, the slot corner who was basically Mike Hilton's replacement when Mike Hilton went to Cincinnati. He had his revenge when he gave Kenny Pickett a lick. But so let's look at the rest of the teams. Kevin Dotson will probably start for the Rams. Jacksonville, I can't really think of anybody. Tennessee, I can't really think of anybody. Green Bay, I can't think of anybody. Browns. Cincinnati has what's his name? Has
Zach Gentry.
Zach Gentry, Mike Hilton. Arizona, James Conner. Who else? James Conner. I'm not other than James Conner. I can't remember anybody else. But New England, Juju, Colts.
Juju. That's gonna be a hard game for Juju. He loved playing on the Steelers. I could tell.
Yeah, it's not gonna be it's gonna be his first game against Pittsburgh.
That's sad, man.
Yeah,
I love Juju in his prime.
Yeah, man. I'm not gonna lie. I cannot forgive him for the Saints fumble in 2018. He really cost us the season, in my opinion. So I personally can't forgive that. That's just me, though.
We got, and then the rest are
just hard teams. Pretty hard, pretty difficult. We got a good schedule. We're playing a lot of good teams. We don't play great teams. Teams that we can beat. I think we can win about 9 games this year. But the reason I was pointing that out, there's a lot of former Steelers that are playing a lot better for their new teams than they should have. That tells you something about the coaching staff, in my opinion, and that's where I'll leave that opinion.
Oh yeah.
But other than that, what is last thing, what is one realistic thing that you want to see Pittsburgh do before the Rams game? One move that you want to make, trade, signing, cut, release. What is one thing you desperately want to see the Steelers do before the bye week, before the end of the bye week?
Is it only one move or can I name 2 moves?
Only one move.
I think we're both on the same note here.
Yeah.
Fire Matt fucking Canada.
Now, I agree with you, but unfortunately that's just not realistic because Big Ben also said on his podcast that it's probably not going to happen because you don't want to do that in the middle of the year. So unfortunately, Steelers fans, we're going to have to stick with Canada for the rest of the season. My move is cut Gunnar Olszewski. I think it's just time for him to go. That's the move that we need to make.
My other move, if Gunnar Olszewski or Matt Canada doesn't get fired, start JPJ.
Yeah, unfortunately, this coaching staff is kind of stupid, so it's unlikely. This coaching staff is pretty stupid. So.
Oh yeah.
Well, this does it for our very first podcast. I felt pretty good about it. I felt very comfortable. I don't know about you. I quite enjoyed doing this. I think we're gonna do this every Tuesday.
Sure, I'm down for it. Let's go.
All right, everybody. We appreciate you watching the stream. Let us know some ideas. Let us know if you guys want to join the stream. We can do a little call-in session. Let you guys join the Discord call, ask questions. If not, peace out, y'all. Have a good one.